Honourable member for Hamilton Centre will now have 5 minutes for his right of reply.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and may I first thank all my colleagues from all parties across the aisle and on this side for their participation and for taking this matter seriously, because it is very important to the people of Hamilton. So I thank everyone for that. Having said that, I have to say, though, that there wasn't a government member that got up and said anything that was of any real value other than a lot of rhetoric and reading out their talking points about what they've done. But nowhere did anybody stand up and address the key issues that we have placed before this Parliament. And once again, it shows that these workers, these employees, these potential pensioners, those that are on pension, are just not a priority for this government. And anybody who wants to question that, read the Hansard. Read the Hansard and see what was not said as opposed to what was said. On the other side of the spectrum, let me also thank my two Hamilton colleagues, the member for Hamilton Mountain and the member for Hamilton East Stony Creek, who both spoke very passionately, very knowledgeably on the issue that's in front of us and the harm and damage that's being done to these U.S. steel workers, former Stelco, and members of Local 1005 USW. I also would like to have people draw attention, if you're interested. A lot of the rhetoric comes up about what happened with the pensions at Stelco back in the 90s provincially, and I urge anyone who wants to know the truth about that and the facts to visit the remarks of my colleague from Hamilton Mountain on December the 4th, 2014, when we first debated this, because she goes into great detail spelling out exactly what's the truth and what's just a lot of myth and politics and spin. So I thank her so much for that. And, of course, I want to thank my colleague from Montmagny, Lille, Kumu, Raska, Rivière, Dulu. Yeah, I know, easy for me to say. I thank him so much for his passionate remarks, and you can certainly tell that he gets this issue. You know, Speaker, my motion asked for three very simple things. It's not that complicated. Number one, we asked for an apology, and we feel we're owed an apology because it's the government that makes a decision under the Canada Investment Act as to whether or not a foreign takeover can take place. That's a judgment call, and it's supposed to be based on whether or not there's a net benefit to Canada. Well, there's no net benefit to Canada. There sure as heck is no net benefit to those pensioners whose pensions are on the line right now. Their whole quality of life is on the line right now. There was no net benefit for them. So this was a terrible decision at best. At best, it was a terrible decision. And it is not unreasonable for the people of Hamilton to ask for an apology from the government for making this really awful, horrid decision that has led to this crisis in all these hundreds and thousands of Canadians' lives. And it is nothing less than that. We asked the government to make public their secret deal that got us to this point. Hamilton City Council has asked for the documents. They've taken this so seriously, Speaker, that they've struck a special subcommittee, the Steel Subcommittee. And may I also just take a moment, I believe it happened today, but that Councillor Scott Duvall was re-elected as the chair of that committee, and Councillor Sam Marula is the vice chair. That's how seriously the people of Hamilton take this issue. I'm being told I have 1 minute left. We ask that the government make amendments to the Bankruptcy and Insolvency Act and the Companies Creditors Arrangements Act, CCAA, to ensure that pensioners in the future go to the top of the list, not the bottom. Here's the crime of this. You can't relive the years it takes to build up a pension. And so to deny people the right to the pension they worked for is unacceptable in this country. It's immoral to do that to people. And yet that's exactly what's happening here. And it's not just the union workers. It's also the salaried non-union workers. Their pensions are on the line just as much. This is unacceptable, Speaker. We need to turn around and elect a government that's going to care about the people of this country, like doubling CPP rather than throwing people off pension pension lines in terms of the amounts that they're entitled to receive. This action by the government has caused countless heartache and stress to all those people affected, and the government to this minute has still not given Hamiltonians the justice and decent attention that they're entitled to. And until they do, we in the NDP and those of us from Hamilton, yes, we will stand up and we'll holler from the rooftops that this is wrong, and we want pensioners and Hamiltonians protected the way they deserve. Thank you.